Okay, I hope everybody is caught up.
Yep.
Anyone who wasn't here saw the video. So we're at the paragraph that starts Dina Mitzva. We're in Kidush Hachodesh still. We're learning Leilun Nishmat on about Binyamin. Dina Mitzva. Do we have a brave soul to volunteer to read?
Wait, I see Ze Shaman.
I'll read.
A little bit further down, I think.
It's almost like the penultimate paragraph. It's virtually at the end. There's the penultimate.
After that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Second paragraph at the end.
You want to?
Yeah, let's go.
All right.
Dine HaMitzvah. So this is the Dine HaMitzvah.
Great translation.
Kagon Hakirat Edut Hachodesh. This is like the when they do the research.
The word kagon. How do you translate that?
Kagon is like. It's such as.
Such as.
Yeah.
It's not like. It's for example.
Okay, for example, kagon.
Such
Yeah.
as.
Okay, for example, the investigating the witnesses that of the month, the people who witnessed the Hachodesh.
What word are you translating as witnesses?
Edut.
Edut.
Yeah, the witnesses are the edut.
That's the witnessing, the testimony, not the people.
Oh, okay.
But
The edut of
There's
the
a dim of witnesses.
the edut of the so they're checking out the testimony of the Hachodesh. Ve'iyum ha'edim lefamim. I don't know what iyum is, but I'm gonna guess it though. Iyum ha'edim lefamim, so that they're mistaken. The witnesses are mistaken.
No, not mistaken. The threatening of the witnesses.
Threatening?
They are warned and threatened that they shall not lie.
Iyum is threatened.
It's a threat. Yes.
Is that anything to do with the word for enemies, which is oyev? Only because aleph yud vev.
so.
Because the three letters are the same letters again.
Yeah, but in the shores, it's two letters are the same.
Oh.
Aleph Yud.
Yeah.
I mean, again, if we want to talk about the shores of the shores. Then
Yeah, I do wonder because it's sort of an enemy threatens.
Yeah.
Iyum. So the iyum ha'edim lefamim. So this is the threatening. Sometimes there's threatening the edim. Bedin hilul Shabbat ve'edut ketzad. So in this, we're talking about this din of that they do hilul Shabbat for the witnessing. So how do they do that?
Right. How is that? How does that work?
How's that work? Okay, bedin hilul Shabbat ve'edut zo ketzad. Okay, so how's that work? Ve'al mashe me'abarin et hashana ve'al mashe en ma'abrim otah. So it says so we're still in this kind of questioning of saying what is this so how's it work where we are going to have a leap year and
Alma. For what?
For what?
Under what circumstance?
Under what circumstance? So what are the circumstances of the leap year, and what are the circumstances of not a leap year? Mabinota. So which is the Chodesh that we're going to add on to? And that's going to be Adar. Kamoshe Darshu Zal. So just like the Chachamim, they were the one. That's what Darshu is the ones who the Chachamim who darshed.
No, it's a verb.
So
in Darshu, they learned out, or they expounded.
Yeah, we have the Zal though. Doesn't that make them the people who were the Darshuim people?
No. It's the subject is implied. The subject is not explicit here. It's implicit.
So Saint says Darshu. So they're leaving out Chachamim.
They. The word they is implied.
Okay.
They.
Shekamo Darshu Zal. She'amarte et hukah hazot lemoada. So that this is this is something like a pasuk here.
Yeah.
Shemarta et hukat azot lemoada, so that you're going to have to make sure that the laws, of that's going to work out. I guess the translation is like the work out, that it's going to come out in time.
This law has to be done in its time.
Okay.
And this law, Chukah Azod, refers to Korban Pesach.
Okay.
That's the
ששמעת חוקק הזאת למועדה, מלמד שאין מעברים את השנה אלא בפרק הסמוך למועד. Okay, so it says we don't
Melamed. How do you say
we don't learn out.
No, Melamed.
Teach.
It teaches.
Yeah, it
and
teaches.
The pasuk is teaching us.
So the more that, so it says, right, Shemarta Techukaka Hazot Lemoadeh Milamed. So this pasuk here says She'en Ibarim et Shana ve'ele beperek hasmoch lemoed. So it says we don't learn it out. We don't learn it out other than this word that this
it teaches.
it
The
teaches.
pasuk teaches.
Yeah.
It's teaching us She'en Mabrim Tashana, that we can't.
Oh, that we can't.
Shouldn't.
We shouldn't other than
Add, right?
Isn't
Add
that
a month
Eilah?
on.
Yeah.
Mabrim Tashana.
Perek hasmoch lemoed.
The time that is near to the Moed, a particular Chag, and that particular Chag is the one mentioned in that pasuk, which is Pesach. So it's the only time that we can add a month is right before Pesach. That's what we learned from this pasuk.
Okay.
Because Pesach is like an anchor.
Where did
of
you
the
get
year.
that before Pesach?
It says Moed. The Moed is referring back to the pasuk. It says B'moadah.
So the pasuk's talking about
The
Pesach?
pasuk is talking about Pesach.
Okay, but not written here.
No, but that's the context.
Oh, okay. So Shemarta et hukak hazot lemoada, and that's meaning that talking about Pesach.
Right.
So-
Pesach is like an anchor because Pesach is the Chag that is very clearly specified as having a particular time.
That's the
It's
anchor.
not the only
Even though
one.
we have Chag HaKatzir, Chag
Yeah,
HaAsif,
exactly.
but there's no mitzvah. It's called that. That's its name. But on Pesach, we specifically have the mitzvah of V'shamarta Chukah Azot Lemoada, that we have to make Pesach at the particular time. And so it anchors the whole year.
We have to shake lulav at a particular time.
On
And I know-
Sukkot.
Yeah, but Sukkot being...
But Sukkot, even though it's called
Chag
Chag
HaAsif,
HaAsif,
yeah.
and then the name would be meaningless if it was somewhere else in the year. There's no mitzvah to have Sukkot at a particular time. It all follows from Pesach. Right? Pesach is the anchor, and everything just follows from there.
Why is that?
Why is that? It's well, if you ask, the best and maybe the only answer I can give you is comes from the kind of more agadic side of things. It's not a halachic answer. And for instance, Rav Kook in I don't know what the original source is, but it's brought in his Sidur Olat Riyah. He says that Chodesh Aviv is Aviv HaOlam, that Yetziat Mitzrayim, right? That's the connection, is that the Torah says the remembrance of Yetziat Mitzrayim has to be in Chodesh Aviv. And that because the Aviv is the time when the world wakes up, like we just said.
Well, it makes sense.
It's the best time to go out and take a bike ride. Everything is flowering, everything is alive. So the world was reborn. It's a time of rebirth.
It's a beautiful time of year.
And that's the time of when we connect back to Yetziat Mitzrayim. That's when Yetziat Mitzrayim had to happen in terms of the calendar. That's the time that made most sense for it to happen. That's the time when we also want to revisit it.
And that's the first month.
Yes.
That becomes the first month, and it's when we got the mitzvah, the Hachodesh, right? So this began the whole thing. And the idea behind Pesach is to tell the story. It's really mamish. It's like you say, it's an anchor in the whole story of the Jewish people, right? So it makes sense that it has to be a fixed time. Otherwise, the story kind of gets a little fuzzy.
Yeah.
Right? And this way, the story stays solid. It's like, hey, this is when we went out. This is the time when we, when Hashem did all the miracles and he did the Pesach. So you can't really re-experience going out of Mitzrayim in another time. You have to experience, the whole idea is experience the Yetziat Mitzrayim. So this is, it makes sense that it has to be, authentic in all of its aspects.
And not only that, but the way that we built our calendar is that when an event happens at a particular time, we commemorate at that time not because that's the anniversary, but because it happened at that time because of the nature of that day. So it's something that...
What came first?
Right, what came first?
Yeah.
The chicken.
Right, Hanukkah is the darkest time of year, and that's when we're shining the light, right? Pesach is when the world is reawakening, and that's why Yetziat Mitzrayim happened then, right? And that's why we are also remembering it then.
There's another aspect, which is every time it circles back, the energy is captured in that time, like the energy of Hanukkah, and you can tap into.
Right, because it's, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you're saying in different words.
We're saying different sides of the same thing. It happened at a time, like Hanukkah. It was, dark time, right, darkness. But now when we commemorate it, it's not just like it was, but everything that happened from that, it just gets deeper and deeper.
I guess that's why Tisha B'Av is the day when everything goes badly wrong. And there's throughout history. Mm-hmm. That's the day where you don't want to be doing things of importance.
Did that answer your question?
Totally.
Okay, good.
Now I can go to sleep and I'll be
All
happy.
right, good night.
They can move on to Purim.
No, just saying, we'll be happy.
Well, that's my name, and we'll be happy. All right. So where are we? Hachodesh Eila B'Yom Talmud. Hold on. Darshu. Oh, okay. And furthermore, they darshud in Sanhedrin. B'pasuk zeh nayin she'ein ma'abrim et hachodesh Eila B'Yom Talmud lomar.
Ela bayom. Question.
Eila B'Yom.
Timod Omar. Answer.
Oh, okay. So hang on. How did that happen? The pasuk, b'pasuk zemanya. Where is it that there isn't a? Is that right? Where isn't it? There isn't a ma'abarim. Where is that we don't?
Not where is it? Minayin means from where, meaning what is the source. Minayin in general means from where. Okay. Minayin, which probably is a contraction that was originally mean ayin. Ayin being similar to efo ayeka, right? The whole aleph yud thing is where. So minayin, where this is a contraction, and in halachic sources, based on the Gemara, it starts with the Gemara, but going from the Gemara on, we see this usage, minayin, specifically means, what's your source? So that's, in modern Hebrew, lots of people say me'efo. That is a mistake. It's become acceptable, but it's incorrect. It's kind of like, in English, we have the word whence. Whence have you come, right? Nowadays, people don't use that. They say, where'd you come from? Right? But there's a word for that. And that's the proper Hebrew. And again, it means what's the source. So and specifically in the Gemara and also here, it means what is the pasuk that you're based on?
So what's the question? Just it's maybe in non-Sefer Chinuch wording.
Yeah.
What's the question they asked here?
We haven't read the question yet.
Okay. That's why I didn't know what I came out.
We're in the middle of reading it.
I feel bad, that's all
We
right.
didn't finish the question yet.
Thank
So,
you.
minayin, what is the pasuk? Okay?
She'ein ma'abrim et hachodesh ele bayom, so that we don't. Okay, this is that we don't. Add the chodesh other than yom.
No. During the day, the Beit Din can't make the decision to add a month onto the year except during the daytime.
So wait, let's understand
the
that question though. This is the pasuk zemenayin. Pasuk is there. Okay, menayin she'ein ma'abrim et hachodesh ele bayom.
Yes.
Okay, so what? How
Menayin is always that's the question.
did we get to this question? And it seems like this question just showed up.
Well, here the Sefer Chinuch is kind of collecting little tidbits for us from various places in order to fill out the picture of what's involved with this mitzvah. What are the various facets, halachic facets and ramifications? That's what he does in this paragraph of Dinei Mitzvah. Just kind of give us an overview.
Oh, so this is just a stam question.
This is like a
It's on its own. It's just okay. So we're going to ask a question.
no. He's not asking the question. This is a source that he's bringing. He says ve'od darshu, and here I have in the Mechilta.
The
sources in the Mechilta.
Well, what is the question, sir? I think the question was asked now.
The pasuk menayin.
The question is,
He's
what
filling
is
in
the
the details.
source for the halacha that was already known
Yeah, that we can't.
that you can only convene a Beit Din for Ibur Shana during the day?
Okay, so how do we know
So
that?
but I'm already confused because surely, I see that means if you see the new minute after.
No, this has nothing to do with the new moon. The new moon is for the month. We're talking about the year.
During which, okay, well, during
Adding the
which
leap year, making a leap
okay,
year.
during the day, during which day, or was that going to be
This is
discussed?
not during the daytime.
In other
It's
words,
not a nighttime activity.
where they go to court on the daytime to discuss to make a din on the adding the month. But the question is on this is you filled in a lot of details here. How would we know as fledgling chachamim?
Okay, so one thing we can pick up on here is he says darshu zichronam livracha. But at the moment we have the word lidrosh. Okay,
Right.
lidrosh in halachic context is a technical term. Lidrosh can mean
To dash.
to demand, it could mean to seek out, but in halachic text it means to extrapolate or to, there's another EX word, expound, right, from
Right.
a verse. So it's to derive halacha from verses.
Right.
That's a technicality here. So as soon as you see darshu zal, you mean he's talking about the Chachamim, he's talking about the Mishnah, Gemara, or some contemporaneous source with the Mishnah and the Gemara.
Okay, so
Is that where the English word drasha comes from as well?
Yep.
well, hang on a
So,
second.
yeah.
Precisely.
Let's see how that worked out. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm going to read it like that, so it says that we're saying, where did that go?
Start reading the sentence.
Okay, so darshu tal. So okay, so we had the tal being the chachamim they darshaned, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Sanhedrin Yud Bet, pasuk zem manayim she'en ma'abumim l'chodesh ele b'yom. So that's a question. So they bring. Oh, I see. So now they're saying, okay, so they're darshaning, but no, I still wouldn't. I don't think it would be yom. So there's the context that I'm missing. The words I'm missing is that how would I know that the beit din? You're talking about a beit din. Is just that stam
No, that he told
Everybody
us.
knows that already. One of those
Well,
deals.
if you read the previous paragraph, you already know that because he says in the previous paragraph, 2 paragraphs ago, "Zeh she'amarnu al dat haram." No, even before that, all the way near the beginning of this mitzvah, he talked about who has the authority to carry it out, right? He talked about smuchim, and we talked about the gadol ador. That has to be right. Even you can do it chutz la'aretz if there's no equivalent.
And who else could it be? In other words,
Right.
Who else?
The only body that's authorized
to do that?
to do this is the Beit Din.
Right. Got it.
Is the high or greatest Beit Din of the generation.
Got it.
So
But I mean, we know,
That's
and we know now
how
they
we-
have to do it during the day. It's questioning.
Well, that's our
that.
question. We don't know.
No,
that.
but he's saying that. He's
Yeah.
saying, how do we know it's only by day?
Ah, yeah, right.
right, how do we know that's only by day?
Yeah.
This is a kind of interesting formulation that we see a lot in drush, halachic drush. Right, halachic drush being, I'm not trying to tell a story about Avraham Avinu. I'm trying to fit halachas into the psukim. I'm trying to or extract them from the psukim, and a lot of time we see this kind of formulation. Minayin, that how do I know that this is true? Here it says so in this pasuk. That's how I understand it from this pasuk. And where it's kind of putting the cart before the horse, because the question already assumes that this halacha is known.
Yeah, that's the point. I think that everyone's just getting.
And the truth is that in many cases that's how it worked. The halacha was known. Either it was, that at the time that these drushas were formulated, this is the time of the Tanaim, so the oral Torah had been evolving for hundreds of years, and there was all this general knowledge, like they knew this is what you have to do, but then part of it was because of the conflict with the Tzdukim, who said the oral Torah is all bunk, it's all made up. It's not based on the written Torah. It doesn't have any connection to it. And so part of that struggle was, okay, well, let's reconnect it back. Like we have halachot that do seem to be disconnected from the written Torah because we don't have a basis for it. Meaning we have a halacha, but it doesn't say it in the written Torah. I mean, we don't have any way of connecting it. So then a lot of the Midrash halacha is just making those connections. There was an existing body of halacha, and then we say, okay, what about this halacha? Where can we learn this from? Where does this connect? How does this fit in? And then we get these kinds of questions where you're like, what? How did you know that already? Right? So that was something that was already known because it was just part
It's
of
one of those everybody knows.
Yeah.
Everybody knows.
Everybody
except for
knows
us.
you can only
Yeah,
convene
exactly.
a Beit Din for Ibur Shana during the day.
Yeah, right. Everybody.
But what's the
knows.
source?
Yeah, right. It's like everybody knows except for us. Okay.
Only now you know.
Now I know. Now I became everyone. So everyone knows, right? Anyway, so Talmud Lomar, the Torah teaches.
Okay, so this is for many years was a mystery to me. How to parse these two words. A lot of people, do you have vowels in there?
Who?
Do you have vowels in your book?
Yeah.
It says Talmud Lomar, right?
Talmud.
So, to the best of my understanding, the correct way to punctuate it is Tilmod Lomar, and because Talmud Lomar isn't even grammatical. Talmud Lomar is the teaching to say. What does that mean? It's a question, and then they already have the answer ready, right? So if you're asked this question, Tilmod Lomar, learn to say this.
Oh. Tilmod Lomar miyamim yemima. So now this is not giving us a source of that.
This is Yamima is
Well, that's from that's from a pasuk.
that's a pasuk.
Okay, but how do we know where that pasuk is? Is there some reference to like above that we were learning like from the same?
How do you know where the pasuk is?
Yeah,
You're supposed to know all of Tanakh by heart.
I knew that.
That's a prerequisite to
To this class.
be a Tana. No, to be a Tana.
He's just testing you, by the way. He knows. He's just
Yeah,
you know.
I do the pin test, right? Then, I can let you know with a pin where the meat is in my sandwich. Anyway. So anyway.
It's important.
Yeah, it is important. Anyway, so okay, yamim. Okay.
So Miyamim Yamima is actually the end of the pasuk that we quoted earlier. V'shamarta et hachukah hazot lemoada, miyamim yamima.
So is it like the same thing going on? Would it be? Is this like just it doesn't really matter. We just have to take it for the face value.
No. It's very much
that's in the Torah.
It's very much contextual because we're saying v'shamarta et hachukah hazot lemoada. This is where we learn that there's a particular time in the year when you do this mitzvah. Korban Pesach has to be done in the spring. That's right. That's v'shamarta et hachukah hazot lemoada, and then the pasuk ends miyamim yamima. That's all part of the same phrase.
From days to days.
It's
No, I'm just
from
saying
day to day, which literally is from year to year.
Is it like? Did we miss that where it said where it was?
Yeah, but how does that teach me that?
Well, because it's talking about days. So then we're saying, it's only days.
But a day runs from night until.
You're being literal.
No, but the point.
Well, it asked me a question I thought I'd know that was obvious, and gave me an answer which makes no sense.
So basically, what do I see? What's going on?
Well,
you have to go to
think-
Sanhedrin.
Wait, first I want to answer.
If I not makes no sense, I really don't.
There are a lot of these. There are a
Being
lot of,
unsatisfactory.
No, but the last day of
there are a lot of these drashot that seem like unsatisfactory or like, come on, right? But if you, I think that the guiding question or the guiding kind of mindset needs to be what if the Torah had written this differently? Meaning the same information, the same general intent could have been written with different words. It could have said Shana Shana, but instead the Torah says Yamim Yamima. It's specifically using days to express years, even though it could have used something else.
So I think it makes sense in this case, because it's speaking of the leap year, which goes the last day of this year, and the next day is the next year. So it's actually day to day as well as year to year.
But there's no fixed time for this Sanhedrin to meet. The Sanhedrin could, in theory, met 6 months ago to determine this year would be a leap year, or they could have met a week ago.
True. There's no set time.
Yeah.
But I'm over here though. How is that? We would probably then
2
reference
years,
Sanhedrin because that's the easiest
like 2
reference.
days.
It probably has the
Yes, I
Pesukim
get
and
that.
everything you wanted to
Even in
know
the
about
UK.
this.
The references are not part of the original text. The references belong to the publisher, the modern day publisher, and they reference things however they
Oh, you
see
mean
fit.
in the original text didn't have that?
No.
Oh, okay. So you had basically just had to know everything.
Yeah, well, come on. I mean, what are you doing here if you don't know everything?
That's
You know
true.
the story about the new rabbi got hired, and about a month after he was in his new position, the shul had a board meeting. One of the board members storms at the meeting and says, "That new rabbi, I think we need to fire him." But looks at him. What happened? He says, "Last night I had to get something from the shul. I went in there 9 o'clock at night. The rabbi was sitting there learning." But he looks at him. Okay, and then what? Well, why is he learning? He needs to know everything already. He's the rabbi. So there you go.
Okay, I didn't see that one coming. Anyway, Odar shoots out. So we're going to talk about another concept here, right?
Another
We're going to derive from a pasuk.
good. Another halacha.
Another halacha. And we're going to, the source on this that the publisher gave us was, if we want to look into it deeper, is in Megillah Hey, Aleph. לחדשי השנה, חדשים, אתה מחשב לשנה, ואי אתה מחשב ימים.
Okay. So first of all, lechodshei hashana. You have a kamatz katan there.
So it's the months of the year.
Yeah. Months. A month is chodesh.
Yeah, the chodshei, it's
Yeah,
what do you
chodshei,
have?
not chadshei, chodshei.
Chodshei. Oh, because you got me on that last time. Okay.
Chodeshim.
Chod.
Ata mechashev.
The Chodshei Hashana. So this is the months of the year.
That's a quote.
Okay, that's a quote. Harashim ata mechashev. The months you determine from year to the year. Ve'i ata mechashev yamim. and you don't. E is a don't, like in the yeah, and you don't calculate the days.
Correct.
Okay, so it says ve'od amru be'inyan.
Did you understand what you read?
What?
Did you understand what you read?
Absolutely not.
First of all, where is the pasuk?
The pasuk.
L'chodshei Hashana. What's the
Chodshei
context?
Hashana.
L'chodshei Hashana. What does that mean?
The month says v'chadashim ata mechashev l'shana v'iyata mechashev. So it has to be the pasuk is l'chodshei Hashana.
That's the part. From a pasuk. But what's the context of those two words?
What's the context of
Those two words? Yeah.
It's to do with Pesach and when Pesach falls and no.
No, not directly. Not directly. It's a pasuk that we met all the way at the beginning.
Would this be
If we go all the way back to the beginning of the mitzvah, there are really so many pages. The pasuk that we see at the beginning is Hachodesh hazeh lachem,
yeah, okay.
Rosh Chodashim. The second half of that pasuk is Rishon hu lechodshei Hashana.
That means the start of the year.
It's the first month of the year. And since it's talking about that is the pasuk that sets out the concept of a calendar. When it says the Chodshei Hashana, the year is made of months. So when you're adding onto the year, you can only add on a whole unit of a
Yeah,
month.
but would we need that whole pasuk to understand what we're reading here?
Did you understand it without the whole context?
I did not. But I'm just saying though, but we would need some content more. It was
You forget something. You forget something here. The assumption which we spoke about, which is that you know all the Torah anyway.
Okay.
Right. As a contemporary reader who happens to not know the whole Tanakh by heart, you have to keep your wits about you, and when you see a fragment of a pasuk, you've got to figure out where the rest of it is. And sometimes it's more than one pasuk for context. You need more than one for context,
Yeah, we wouldn't have known to come. This one we wouldn't know it's the end, even if we came back over to take a look at the pasuk that's being provided for us earlier, because we don't see the entire.
Right.
So that would mean that what we really need to do is that the publisher gave us where it's located, the entirety here in Megillah, the whole discussion. So if we really want to understand
Well, if you go in Megillah, it'll just give you a reference to the pasuk.
Right.
It
Yeah,
won't
yeah.
give you the whole pasuk either, unless you have there are modern Gemaras that have on the side they have the whole pasuk.
Right. Well, they'll have it like in the commentary somewhere, or something. But the point is, it'll tell you where to find it. It's a treasure hunt. So so for people like us who wouldn't understand this without a teacher, first of all, we would have no clue, right? So we would, if we wanted to look it up on our own, like when you give us our homework, right, to look things up, it's by Kedai to go look into look these up on our own before we come to class.
That would be
That'd be a good idea.
a serious homework assignment.
And one which, to be honest, I wouldn't do.
You wouldn't do it?
We're not there yet. Maybe a few
I don't think you're going to do it.
I've actually started last week.
Yeah, actually, I would. I would. In fact, I think I'm going to go do that. Yeah, I like that. Just I like it.
So what we're saying here is what
But
they
I wouldn't
learn.
know to do that, right, without coming here to learn. That's what I would need to do to get a little deeper into it. I have no idea what, which is then going to, in other words, when we're learning this on our own, in order for us to get the context and everything, we really do need to look these sources up in order to be able to, understand what's going on here, or just come to Shira and just get spoon-fed. But that's not what we're here for. We're not here to get spoon-fed.
Well, you're learning to eat on your own.
Yeah,
Step by
right.
step.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So the question, so here we're just saying, just recap again, if I may, sorry, excuse me. So we're saying that the Hachamim learn, they said because of what they're learning from this phrase, which is the first month, it's the first month of the year, what we're saying there.
No, the key phrase is Lechodshei Hashana.
Yeah, Lechodshei Hashana, but I thought
the year is made of months.
Okay. So
The
like
months of the year. So you see, the
months.
year is comprised of months,
Okay.
not days. Even though earlier we had Mia Mima, which means year to year, and it's literally
So, question: what do we learn from this phrase, Hachodesh, Shana? We learn that the year is made up of months. The year is not made up of days. And
Right.
what it means, I guess, by that, just run that through logically in my
Right,
head,
the
is
months
that there are no set number of days per year, particularly in a time where you're declaring the moon, because there's a real flex. The days before the calendar got set, there's a real flex around how many days there could be in a year. But it's the number. You don't count the days; you count the months.
No, because you have to do a leap year.
You do count the days as well, relevantly, because you count them for the sake of Chagim.
But that's the count for the Chag is within the month,
Yes.
so that we'll see.
Yeah, so
maybe he'll say
yeah.
that in a minute. That
So months,
The
month makes up a year,
are comprised of days.
and days make up a month.
Yeah,
Okay. But
so
days
you can't
do
have a
not.
month that's
Yeah.
29 and a half days.
But days
No,
do
but
not.
would
Yeah,
solve a lot of
but days
problems,
do not
right?
make up a
But I
year.
think we're talking about the adding a month, not a day. You know, it's
Yeah, no, we're talking about
you get-
no.
Right,
So
so
if
alternatively,
you
you
know
could say-
days, you're gonna. So I'm gonna add 30 days. So you know.
No, you're
29.
going to add 11 and a half days,
Yeah.
and then you don't have to play with it every year. You just it's always 12 months, 11 and a half days, and then it always matches the solar calendar, right? That's the alternative.
Ah.
That would be clever.
So why would we just?
Why can't you do that? Because then you have a month that straddles 2 years.
But would that be problematic in terms of the actual month itself and calculating the month? Or the month, I mean, the moon, you know, waxes and wanes. With
Yeah, you can't mess up the month, right?
Right, you
Because that's
can't-
tied to the moon.
You can't
So
add. So you
that
can't
challenge?
add
You
days.
can't add days to the month. So,
So
then
there
that
it is.
month would be half in one year, half in the other year.
Right, no, but that's the key, because you can't ma'abarin at the yamim was what it's
Right,
saying.
that's exactly
That's
the
okay.
point here.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
So we're all based on the same page.
Yeah. Okay. What's next?
But why?
Where did we leave our heroes off at? It says.
We've got more that the
Yeter Platea.
Adam Banyan.
Oh, the Chodesh Hashanah, the Chodesh Atam, the Chodesh Hashanah, the Chodesh Hashanah, the
Oh.
Od. Amru Inyan Zeh, and it's further, and continues on.
Says that, yeah.
Okay, at the
It
same.
continues on. In order of another thing that they said.
Okay, another Amru Inyan Zeh. They're about this.
Oh,
particular-
that's Chodesh. Okay, fine. Yeah.
Right, the subject. Furthermore, about the subject, right? This is Megillah Sham, and it's the same place. Chodesh Yamim. This is the days of the month. Yamim Atam Mechashev LeChodesh. So it's the days are how you calculate the month. Ve'i Atam Mechashev Sha'od, and so we're following the same kind of a pattern here, and you can't calculate the hours. Ve'yeter, furthermore, Ve'yeter Parateha, and additional details, Mevo'arim b'Masechet Rosh Hashanah, are brought out in Masechet Rosh Hashanah, or explained in Masechet Rosh Hashanah. And here's the source: Be'Perek Aleph, Shel Sanhedrin, and Be'Brachot. So that's giving more sources in this particular.
More references.
More
if you
references,
wanna-
and towards if you want to go delve into it deeper.
You want to go
Okay.
enrich yourself. Now, the interesting part here is that this last pasuk is out of context. It's not. I mean, it's not in the context of the calendar.
We knew that.
Chodesh Yamim here is from Parashat Baalotcha. If we look, it says Bamidbar Yud Aleph. That's the story of the Slav, right? That they had enough to eat for a whole month.
Right.
And there it says Chodesh Yamim. So there we see that a month is made of days, even though the context there is not anything particularly related to the calendar.
Okay. So would anybody else like that? I read a paragraph. Anybody like to read? Wants to say we're sharing.
I'm just going back to
Yeah.
why does it have to be announced daytime? Did we even answer that question?
Why?
We got an answer, but we didn't.
Well,
like it.
we got a
Day-
technical
day,
answer.
Day to day.
Yeah, we got a pasuk that.
We didn't get a thorough explanation, but
Yeah,
we got
we-
a technical answer. There are a lot of things that are related, that are judicial in nature, that a Beit Din has to decide, that are all only to be done during the daytime. For instance, executing an estate, what's called nachalot,
What is it? Executing
an estate, inheritance, right? Nachalot also is only to be done during the daytime. They all have psukim for this. Right? There's always some pasuk that mentions the word day, which could, it seems to be more easy to interpret as just the day, not as daytime, but that particular day. But there seems to be some issue with having daylight and having a clear mind, and things that require, more contemplation and more kind of.
and this is what the sources are for, to look to answer your question. It's a little, you're right. It's a bit vague. Right,
that's a tiny bit.
Right, so you look into the thing and you'll see a whole discussion over there about why they did it and how come they call it a day, and you know how it works in the Gemara.
Yeah.
So it'll really probably clarify the whole,
Nice.
or make you more confused.
Yeah.
So I'll take a week off work and I'll let you guys know next week.
No, but day by day. Day by day.
Okay, anybody else would like to read?
I can take it on if I
Go right ahead. Yeah, everybody a chance to read.
ונוהגת בכל מקום ובכל זמן שיהיו לנו חכמים סמוכים בתנאים שכתבנו.
Tnaim.
תנאים, בתנאים.
Not tanaim. Tnaim.
תנאים.
You know the difference, right?
You're going to tell me in a minute, and also you're going to tell me
Conditions.
You're also going to tell me definitely drive.
No, when you
In
do a
this
tanai, you make a tanai.
Okay.
That's the difference.
Oh, you had it last week.
Huh? No?
Did.
What'd you say?
You
make it tonight.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about.
But
here.
what is tanaim?
No, the tana. What, this one or the tanaim of the Gemara?
Right, that's tanaim. You read it as tanaim.
Yeah, I did read it tonight.
So that's a plural of
You're
tanaim.
going to tell me also that Noheg isn't drive either.
Not here. Sorry.
So v'noheget b'chol makom, so something in every place, and a b'chol zman in all times. So noheget.
It's like minhag, no?
The mitzvah noheget,
The traditions.
it's applicable.
Okay, it's applicable in all places and all times. Sheyu lanu lachamim, so we will have hachamim, smuchim, ordained. Is it ordained? Yeah, ordained hachamim. But that may. No.
Did you actually say the word?
Did you hear it?
I heard bits of it, but not the whole thing.
Batnaim.
But tnaim, yeah.
Batnaim shekatavnu.
Right. So,
So they're conditions that we've written.
right. B'chol zman sheyu lanu chachamim smuchim. Right. And it's applicable at a time in history when we have smuchim.
Okay, smuchim. Okay.
Right. If there are no smuchim, then you can't do Kidush Hachodesh or Ibur Shana, and that's why they did it all ahead of time for us.
Okay. ובאליך ולא עשה אם הוא חכם שראו לביטל עשה ראוי לביטל עשה וענשו גדול מאוד שגורם כליקול המועדות. So it should pass ועובר עליך.
Who is the subject?
Month.
No, the
The
subject
time.
is
The time?
a person.
Okay.
A person who is over, who passes over the mitzvah and doesn't do it.
Doesn't do
Right.
Im hu hacham, if he is a sage, sharui, sharui
that is befitting for the mitzvah, meaning he fits the bill.
Suitable.
He's suitable for what?
He's suitable for it. Law.
What's the it?
he's a hacham.
He fits the criteria
Criteria being a.
Yeah,
for
to
the
be-
chacham who can do Ibur
Yeah.
Shana or Kidush Hachodesh.
So if he skips over doing it, misses doing it, bitel, aseh,
Tell us it.
bitel, cancel what he did.
No, aseh is the short version of mitzvat aseh. Right.
The what?
He basically fails to do a positive.
Yeah, he lost that mitzvah.
Yeah, mitzvah, positive mitzvah.
The mitzvah say.
It's a mitzvah aseh to do
Yeah,
Kidush
okay.
Hachodesh.
Vansho gadol ma'od, and
Big punishment.
his
Very big punishment.
his very punishment.
is very big.
שגורם קלקול המועדות. I'm guessing it's about because he affects the
Well, kill cool is like to make dirty, make a, you know.
yeah. So
He
he
messes up.
messes with
Yeah.
the timings.
He blew it.
He messes the seasons.
The Moadot are the Chagim.
The Chagim.
Right? He messes up the Chagim because they fall on the wrong times.
Because he made a mistake.
Because he didn't do he didn't put a leap year in when there should be. Right.
Child.
So okay, so ועכשיו בעוונותינו. I don't know what it means anyway. שאין אנו מעברים שנים על פי סמוכים, אנו סומכים בחשבוננו על החשבון המקובל מרבי הלל כמו שאמרנו. So now, in today's generation, today, בעוונותינו,
That one we're going to see a lot.
Oh no,
In
it's
our
like the
sin.
times. The
No,
Because
time,
of
no.
our sins.
In our sins.
Sins. Oh yeah, it's not the
It's a fall from
of the
grace.
time. Oh,
We're in a time that we've fallen from grace because we've lost the smicha
for our sins, basically, or in our sins,
due to our sins.
due to us and for our sins. שאין אנו מעברים שנים. So we, I'm guessing, don't have the. We're not deciding when it's a leap year.
We don't set
Yeah.
leap year.
Al pi smuchim, in the absence of
Not in the absence. Alpi, according to.
according to
But we
smuchim.
don't have smuchim doing it.
So anu somchim becheshbonenu. So we somchim is that the same word smuchim? Is that same?
It's the same word, but it's a different usage.
Rely on.
Rely. I
So
mean,
we-
it's actually the same usage because samuch means somebody who's reliable.
Okay, so we rely on the calculations. Cheshbonim al cheshbon hamakubal, which were received for me Rabbi Hillel kamo shamanu from Rabbi Hillel, as we said.
So that was just a recap
Okay.
about where we're at today. And what was I going to say? Yeah, avonotenu is something we're going to see a lot of in this book and another text we're going to see a lot because the perception of our current state of affairs is that it's a fall from grace, that we used to have Beit Mikdash, we used to have Navi, we used to have Smuchim, we used to have Korbanot, and all these things are gone. And had we not gone astray, that didn't have to happen.
But we still have herring
Uncholent.
and children. That's true.
I made a double herring, but I made a double batch of herring for Shabbat because I'm
What
starting
did
the
you
Kiddush.
do?
Double batch of herring
A double, see that?
for the Kiddush.
Not all is lost.
That's
With,
right.
with my gravel axe, I'm making it for just,
Okay, so how do you come to show that?
It's gonna be a fish.
Decided.
I'd try to go for a fish Kiddush.
Oh, you're gonna make a gravlax?
Gravel axe and
What, this one here?
I'm sponsored.
Where are we
Oh,
on
wait a
time?
minute. If you're gonna make a fit, maybe you should make the what do you call it? The ceviche.
You can do, please do, yeah, do.
You want me to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Bring that in.
I'll come at 10:30.
We'll have a fish.
42.
And 40. Okay,
Yep.
so let's forge ahead. Let's start the next mitzvah. Mitzvah Hey Shchitat
It's my
Pesach.
birthday on Thursday.
What's your birthday?
Good Aleph.
Oh, okay. So bring it in. I'll make some ceviche. Haven't done that in a while.
70, wow.
We have like this total fish.
If I look good at 70, I'll be delighted.
Well, isn't Adar? Adar is actually one of the representations of Adar is the fish,
Pisces, yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's the.
No, I'm just saying one of the symbols that
Yeah.
people use. Perfect.
Which is remind of Avatar. or give me an idea. You decide.
No, but we're gonna have all these fish.
I don't fish. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna make the grab. What are you making?
I'm coming.
He's coming.
I'll eat the fish.
Okay, he'll eat the fish. Okay, that's it. All right,
I
great.
said to come visit a fish dinner this weekend. I can't
Fantastic.
do that with you guys.
So this is,
Although you
this
might
is
not have- I was
preparation
invited
for
you back lunch.
Pesach.
You beat to it.
5 weeks. Pesach's coming in 5 weeks. A little bit
Amen.
less.
My wife was like,
And
Who
we
wouldn't
gotta
want
get
to?
ready for Shchitat of Pesach. Here we go.
That's right. We'll have to keep in our mind that we're going to be able to go up to Beit HaMikdash and do Korban Pesach.
You
That's
don't
right.
even need to pay the mikdash, you just have to build
That's
the mizbeach.
that's exactly right.
You don't even need the Mizbech, you just need to know where it's supposed to be.
And you
Maybe
need,
we'll learn
and
that.
you need to try not to get busted.
Well, that's the hard part. Okay, go ahead, Dorgan.
Pesach ביום י"ד בניסן בן ה-40, שא תמים זכר בן שנה או גדי בבית הבחירה, וזה נקרא קרבן הפסח. So, to...
Okay, one correction. Arbaim. It's not Arbaim,
Yeah.
Arbaim.
Okay.
Yeah.
To Shecht on the 14th day of Nisan at dusk.
Well, no. Ben Arbaim, sometimes it's translated as dusk. Where's my Rashi? Let's learn a little bit about times. We're talking about the calendar, now we get to talk about times of the day. So, we have in the Torah, Shachar, which is daybreak. We have Tzarayim, and we have Erev, and we have Arbaim.
What
I'm
about
assuming
Shkia?
Erev and Arbaim are linked in some way because they have the same root.
What about Shkia?
Shkia is not mentioned in the Torah.
Ah,
It's not a word that the Torah uses.
got it.
I'm assuming Arbaim and Erev are somehow linked because Erev is an evening and Arbaim seems to be between evenings.
Right. So Arbaim, the Ibn Ezra explains, Shachar is dawn, right?
Also, Boker is mentioned.
Boker is mentioned. Vayishkar Rama Boker. So put that over here. That's also a good one to talk about. Morn. We have Tzarayim, which is something like noontime.
Wouldn't Shachar become before Boker?
No. Erev is
No, because
Eve.
the answer is no, because just because the sun's not up.
What is Arbaim? So, let's start at the beginning. I don't know the punctuation for Shachar. It's something like this. Boker. The Ibn Ezra is a really good source for understanding what words really mean, the original meaning. Boker comes from the word levaker, which means
To visit.
to
Visit, no?
visit, but it also means to differentiate. In modern Hebrew, it's to criticize, but criticism is bringing out the differences. In biblical Hebrew, levaker is
Does it have anything to do like it also could it mean? I'm just saying like breaking through. Is there something? No.
no. From here, from the fact that boker means levaker, we get the halacha that the earliest time you can daven is mishi yavdil ben tchelet lekarti or mishi ben yavdil ben tchelet lavan. It's a halacha brought down in Shulchan Aruch, comes from the Gemara. It says when is the earliest? You have to have enough light to be able to distinguish between colors, green and blue, or blue and white, depending on the exact.
Is that because moonlight
Application.
is not sufficient to do that because the moonlight's like yellowy, or is that? Because you can have in a full moon, tons of full moon.
When
And as we know, when we go cycling, you can see quite.
you don't really see colors.
That's my point. That's my point. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't see colors. The cones and rods, right? You have the rods in your eyes work in low light. The cones, which see color, need more light. And when there's only a little bit of light, we don't see color. So when you can really see the colors, that's morning. When you start to differentiate objects, colors, or the other halacha, the other version of that same halacha. I mean, in the Gemara, there are multiple opinions. Another opinion of the Gemara is Misha yakir et chavero midal damot, right? From a space, from this far away, I can recognize a person from their facial features. So it's about recognition, it's about differentiation. That is boker. Shachar is when the sun comes up. Okay? What does the word shachar mean? Shachar is...
So it's dark.
Well, shachor means dark.
Right, it's connected, no?
But shocher is somebody who's striving towards somebody, or like an activist, or somebody who's a part of a movement, or the trainees in the army are called shocharim. Why do I think it's actually a different word? There's some other word also that's used for them. That's shach. Okay, now, Saharan comes from the word sohar.
Isn't livakir also to visit?
Yes.
Well, it's because the day visits by distinguishing from the night.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact connection between visit and the earlier meaning of the word, but this is the connection that we do know. Now, the word sohar means zenith.
Sorry?
A peak.
Oh, zenith. I said zenith.
I said zenith. I mean, I meant it. Okay. Gotta set that straight. The zenith is the peak. The sun is at its peak, right? So that would be the tzohar. Tzohar tasel teva by Noach. There was something at the top of the ark that he was supposed to make, some kind of window. And Tzaraim, the Ibn Ezra explains, is the two peaks, either side, the duplicity of the peaks, meaning either side of the peak. So there's high noon, and there's a bit before and a bit after. That's what Tzaraim means. It means the midday. That's how it means that.
The midday or the middle of the day?
Right, midday meaning the middle of the day. Not,
it's in the middle of the day, depending on that.
Not high noon, but the
the
middle portion of the day.
midpoint of the day.
Right. Now, Erev comes from the word
mix.
Exactly. Ibn Ezra says, why does Erev mean nightfall? Because that's when things start to get blurred again. You're losing light, and things start to mix together. And the light and the shadow mix. And it gets hard to distinguish. So Erev is the opposite of Boker in terms of distinguishing, being able to differentiate, distinguish things. So Arbaim is in between the two. The way that Ibn Ezra explains it's kind of hard to understand, but it's basically the time between Tzaraim and Erev is called Beina Arbaim. It's between the two Erevs, but it's really it's like a transitional period. That's basically.
Let's start again. So do that one again. I thought you said the time between Erev and Sacharaim, but you mean going forwards, not.
No. Beina Arbaim is between Tzaraim and Erev.
So Sacharaim, for the sake of argument, let's say 12 o'clock. Erev is 6 o'clock. So Sacharaim is about 3 o'clock.
It's what we call afternoon.
Oh, okay.
Early evening. So that's Beina Arbaim.
Fine, okay.
Lila.
Yeah, Lila.
So it's out of place in this chart.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't order them really. I just that was because we were focusing on this, so I wrote this at the bottom.
You messed me up, man.
Yeah. I'm sorry. You want to like order them.
So it's late afternoon.
2, 3, 5.
Yeah, that's a bit through me as well. I thought it was going to be after.
Yeah, I was trying to make my own calculations. Like, what does that mean? It comes afterwards.
So it's like after
I had a whole
tea
drasha
time
going
or
on
something?
while you were talking. I had this whole drasha going on.
Yeah.
I could have, delivered a Kiddush drasha on that.
Yeah,
and everybody would just be going
snickering behind your back.
They'd be going, give him another shot, man.
Yeah.
So
They do that anyway.
So, all right, to shecht, all right, shechting on the 14th day of Nisan at this transitional time between late afternoon after your tea. A seh, a sheep, a baby male sheep, ram, of a year old.
A ram would be an adult
Yeah.
sheep, yeah.
A baby
A
male.
lamb. Yeah.
Lamb. Okay. Oh, so cute. All right, or a goat in the Beit Mikdash, and that's called Korban Pesach. That's called the
That's
Pesach
the
sacrificial
name,
lamb.
yeah.
As it is said, and you shall shecht it. Okay, so all of the congregation of Israel shall shecht it, at this time.
Right.
בעניין המצווה הוא שמתקבצים אנשים מישראל לחבורות. And the whole point is the idea of this mitzvah is that all of the people of Israel should get together in these groups, these chaburas, these sort of friendship groups. ולוקחים מן השוק או מביתם גדי אחד עושה תמים זכר בן שנה ושולחים אותו בעזרת בית המקדש. בעזרת בית המקדש ביום י"ד בניסן.
Actually, I'm sorry, I corrected you. Be'ezrat is correct, but I just didn't, just wanted to make sure we mean the right thing.
Yeah. בניסן בין 40, ואחר כך לערב אוכלים אותו בין כולם אחר מאכלם,
אחר
מאכלם, מצוותו לאכול על השבה. Sova. Okay. And then they take it from the shuk or from their houses. They take this one kid or lamb, sweet little pure lamb, a male of 1 year, and they shecht it in the area of the
courtyard.
Thank you. The 14th of Nisan at this transitional time, and afterwards. Okay, and in the evening they eat it, okay, amongst all of them. Achar me'achlam, what is that?
After their food, after the meal.
Oh, after their feast.
It's not the feast. It's
after their
dessert.
ochel, ha'ochel shalahem.
Mm-hmm.
After their ochel. And then this word, and they eat it until satisfaction.
Mitzvato.
And the mitzvah is to eat it until you're satisfied.
No, it's eat it.
Al hasova.
Ala sova, not until you're satisfied. After you're full.
Not after, like dessert.
It's dessert.
Okay.
Absolutely, it's dessert.
Okay.
In fact, the way that we do the seder, we have the afikoman. Afikoman
is dessert.
Is in place of the actual Korban Pesach, and it means dessert in Greek.
Okay.
I thought the Jews, when they were instructed to take an animal to prepare for Korban Pesach whilst in Egypt, took a sheep or lamb.
Yes.
But here it's either lamb or goat. So where's the concept of goat come from?
Where does the goat come from?
Because when I assumed, because the Korban Pesach was always a lamb, in my head it's always been a lamb, so I've seen the word, I never knew that it could also be an either or.
Sorry. You're right. In the story of the first Pesach, there's what is referred to as Pesach Mitzrayim and Pesach Dorot. So Pesach Mitzrayim does not have all the exact same halachot as Pesach Dorot. We're not going to see a lot of discussion of Pesach Mitzrayim here because Pesach Mitzrayim doesn't make it into the accounting of the 613 mitzvahs, since 613 are only mitzvahs that are lidorot, that are forever, and not a one-off. Mitzvah that's a one-off doesn't make it into the 613. So we're not going to actually see discussion of that, but there are a few differences. There's chipazon. They had to be dressed and ready to go. They had to eat it quickly, and they had to smear the blood on the doorpost. They also shechted in their house. Their house was like the mizbeach. Also, it was only a sheep, a lamb, and they didn't have to clean their house from chametz.
Which reminds me of the joke I tell every year.
All right, well, you have to tell it before Pesach.
But come back a second to my question.
Yeah.
So where do we learn? Is it from the Torah Bal Peh, maybe, that a goat is also a qualifying animal to use as a korban Pesach,
So
as opposed to any other animal, by the way?
right. So the
Sorry.
they're the psukim that talk about the mitzvah that was given in Mitzrayim, the Pesach Mitzrayim, and then later on there's further discussion in the Torah of the mitzvah of Korban Pesach on its own.
Mm-hmm.
And there it says mina kvasim or mina izim.
Okay.
It says, specifically that it could be either. And in general, there's a word tzon, which is sheep and goats together, right, as livestock. Livestock is mikneh, and that includes cows, and it might even include horses, which you don't eat, but you hold, you cultivate, so to speak. Donkeys. But there's a specific word that groups together sheep and goats.
A quick question that's
Yes.
a little bit off topic about this week's parsha.
Yep.
So there seems to be that it talks about a kevasim and kevasim.
Kisavim and kvasim.
Yeah, it's and the translation was the same.
It's the same word. There are a few words in Hebrew that you can switch the letters around, at least biblically, and get the same word. I don't know why I'm erasing the whole board. I don't need all of it. So we have keves and kesev. Keves, kesev.
Yeah.
We have simla and salma, which is the same word. Any others? These ones just.
I didn't notice like any.
Shalom and
didn't find
shalom.
anybody making it a
Shalom.
farce. Didn't seem to be a big thing. I didn't see Rashi talk about it.
Yep, it's the same word. What is the reason behind it? I think in modern English you have dialects that switch some consonants around. In African American speech, a lot of times they say, "I'm axing you," instead of asking you.
Axing.
And there's no reason for it. There's no logic behind it. And it's not like they have trouble saying ask. It kind of happened and then they stuck with it. It could be just, I don't know. I don't know anything.
It wasn't
beyond that.
enough for anybody there wasn't anybody making a drasha on it. So I didn't see any like Rashi. I thought maybe I saw something. Rashi speaking about it.
Yeah.
The only thing I could think of is that maybe there were two different types of these animals. That's kind of how I feel.
So in this context, there's a great story. I don't know if it's true historical, but it's about Rashi. That when he was a kid, he got into some trouble, and a shopkeeper thought he had stolen an article of clothing. And then after he was being accused of this, in his defense, he wrote this on the wall. And the shopkeeper and everybody else who was there, the onlookers, thought he was crazy. And he said, no, this is my argument. And they're like, what is this? So he said, well, look, you're missing the vowels. He said, Shelama, Shlomo, Shil, sorry. No. Shema. Salma. Shlema. So once you're punctuated, it means, what do you mean? What's the problem? Shlomo, that's him, Rashi, paid for the whole shirt, dress, whatever the article of clothing is.
That's great.
And it's just kind of a it's one of these stories that shows that Rashi, when he was young, he was already brilliant and knew Hebrew so well. When of course this happens in medieval France and nobody knew Hebrew, but but he already knew how to work this out because he was that kind of kid. So that's just a cute anecdote related to that issue. We'll stop here, although it's
Thank you very
tempting
much.
to go for the next one sentence and just kind of close up this.
משושי מצווה זו, כדי שיזכרו היהודים לעולם, הניסים הגדולים שעשה להם השם ביציאת מצרים. So from the root of this mitzvah, okay, in order that you will learn, that the Jews will learn forever the great miracles that the
Learn or
Hashem
remember?
did for them
Remember.
in the leaving of Egypt.
Shkoyach.
Right. Okay, now before we go, a quick note about reading assignments. I decided that reading assignments, letting you be independent, isn't working well. Also because not only people are less motivated and not having trouble finding a good thing to read, but also because if we're not on the same page, then people kind of like don't feel as comfortable asking questions, and there isn't the synergy of people feeding off each other. So I intend for us to be on the same page for the reading assignments. I found a good text. I'm going to be sending it out weekly, 2 pages, and then there will be an exam.
Great.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Not a real exam, but we'll go over